And Nairobi Azimio MCAs called out the government over targeting them in day-to-day arrests.
A warm welcome to the broadcast. I'm in the company of Ruth Chepkoech and I go by the name Daphne Orina. You can catch this bulletin live on YouTube at KUTV Kenya Live on the Signal channel and also on Facebook. Let's get started, shall we? The ruling Kenya Kwanza coalition has blasted comments by the spokesperson of the United Nations Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights regarding police reaction to the Azimio protests. In a statement by the UDA Secretary General Cleophas Malala, the coalition refutes the 14th July statements alleging that the police used disproportionate force to contain the nationwide protests called for by the opposition.
Kenya Kwanza leaders have fired back to the comments from the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, condemning alleged widespread violence and disproportionate use of force by police during Azimio protests. The ruling party, through UDA Secretary General Cleophas Malala, issued a statement dismissing the sentiments, claiming that United Nations Office for Human Rights failed to properly understand and contextualize the ongoing situation in Kenya. On 14th July this year, the spokesperson of the United Nations Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights threw Kenyan police on spotlight over misuse of power and excessive use of force on common citizens. However, according to Kenya Kwanza, the National Police Service and other security organs have exercised great restraint in the face of provocation by well-organized and well-funded saboteurs trying to bait them into excessive response. The statement further read, "We will ensure that every Kenyan who wishes to peacefully protest, picket or petition can do safely and securely and in a manner that does not infringe on the health, safety and enjoyment of rights of others." Kenya Kwanza did not cease to slam the opposition over claims of refusing to see the results of the August 2022 elections, which awarded Ruto's government a irrefutable win through a free, fair and transparent elections. The leaders warned that the commission should be wary of politicians intending to misuse the institution for their own purpose. Joseph Oyomo, KUTV.
Now, human rights activists under the Linda Katiba organization have raised concerns over alleged blatant subversion of the Kenyan constitution. The activists, who sensitized residents at Nubia Hall in Kisii town, faulted the government for compromising the independence of the Electoral Commission and the judiciary, and calls on the urgent need for rightful implementation of the constitution.
Linda Katiba reformers in Kisii have accused the government of violating the constitution. According to the activists, the 2010 constitution has been subverted since its promulgation.
Hii katiba, ikiwa wewe utaiharibu, itakudhuru wewe mwenyewe na itadhuru vizazi vyako vijavyo. Kwa sababu gani? Kwa sababu ya unafiki ambao wewe utafanya, baadaye hata watoto wako na vijukuu vyako watakuja kuteseka kwa sababu ya wewe kuharibu katiba. Kwa hivyo katiba hii ni kama mazingira.
The activists allege that the country's top leadership has continuously presided over the desecration of the supreme law, even after taking oath to respect it, citing compromise of what are supposed to be independent offices, including the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, and the judiciary.
Ameingilia vile vitengo ambavyo sheria na katiba imetekeleza kwamba vijisimamie. Ukiangalia tume huru ya uchaguzi haijisimamii. Ukiangalia vitengo vyetu vya mahakama havijisimamii. Vinategemea kwamba nini masharti ama shauri zinatoka juu, orders from above. Tutaishi hivyo mpaka lini?
The activists also decry overlooking of the devolution by President William Ruto's government, which has removed the position of devolution cabinet secretary. According to activist Edna Atambo, devolution is inseparable from the new constitution in place.
The Kenyan constitution is the will of the people. And devolution, as we know within the constitution, is the cornerstone of the constitution that we have currently. So we are urging everybody, we are urging all the parties involved that the devolution should be implemented to the latter so as to empower and give governance and to the community and the people.
Albert Nyamao on his remarks faulted President William Ruto for failing to honor his pledge to make life affordable for the citizens during the election campaigns. He warned that the country and citizens risk suffering from ramifications due to wreckage of the subverted constitution unless interventions are put in place.
Na kuna viongozi ambao waziwazi wanaonyesha ya kwamba hawajali maneno ya katiba, wanafanya maneno ambayo waziwazi yanaonyesha kwamba hawana heshima kwa katiba, wanafanya maneno ambayo yako nje ya katiba, wanavunja sheria with impunity. Hiyo ndio shida kubwa sana imeonekana for the last 13 years ambao tumekuwa na katiba mpya.
Among other concerns are the police brutality occasioned by the recent pictures during protests, corruption and favoritism in the political positions where people with questionable integrity have been elected to public offices. Joseph Oyomo, KUTV.
While still on the corridors of power, Nairobi County members of the County Assembly, allied to the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition, have called for the protection of political rights and gains of the 2010 Constitution. In a press release, the MCAs condemned police brutality witnessed during demonstrations, saying they are the biggest victims of the hunt by the security forces. They have raised concerns over street kidnaps of MCS, killings of innocent Kenyans, and police posing as journalists and businessmen to hinge people.
Nairobi City County members of County Assembly from Azimio Wing have raised their concerns over what they call unconstitutional acts witnessed in the country over the past days. In the press release named Call for the Protection of Political Rights and Gains of the 2010 Constitution, the MCS say that the 2010 Constitution was crafted to stop dictatorship and arbitrary use of power. However, the recent occurrences in the country have raised concerns that the Constitution is being overthrown and Kenyans reverting to dictatorship. While directly addressing the President to respect legal boundaries of his mandate, the MCS raised concerns over street kidnap of Azimio MCS for the past 72 hours. They further condemned brutal killings experienced in various parts of the nation and accused police posing as journalists and business people and using vehicles with unidentified number plates to kidnap Kenyans. They added that they are ready to lead the resistance. While condemning killings, they said that, and I quote, "We condemn the ethnic profiling taking place here in the city and Nyanza. Young Luo men and women are being pulled out of their homes in Kisumu and parts of Nairobi and killed in cold blood. The same is going on in parts of central Kenya and Nairobi, where young Kikuyu men and women are being labeled Mongiki, pulled out of their homes and killed." End of quote. They now call upon Kenyans to exercise love for one another and police and government to uphold the Constitution and protect rights and freedom of Kenyans. Jacob Okello, KUTV.
Well, on the drum rolls of politics, former President Uhuru Kenyatta's remarks against the state during a police raid on his son's home yesterday night have sparked sentiments today in the Kenya Kwanza political divide, with leaders incriminating the former president for what they term as sending paupers children to violent protests while theirs remain under heavy protection. President William Ruto has urged Kenyans to depart from instability, reaffirming his position to deal with opposition insurgents. Elsewhere, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition has, in a press briefing this evening, picked on the government for attempts of genocide against the protesters, pointing out on the recent spate of executions made on protesters in the Luo Nyanza region. Azimio, however, maintained that they will remain alive, announcing the next edition of the demonstrations that will kick off on Wednesday next week.
The aftermath of the Azimio la Umoja anti-government protests is cast all over the walls of the Republic. Property was sabotaged, scores injured, while families are still grieving the demise of loved ones who fell with the protests, most of them down by the bullet. Hitting the news headlines, however, are the soaring numbers of fatalities in Nyanza and Nairobi, resulting from police executions during the protests. The Azimio la Umoja coalition now claims that the William Ruto regime has conspired to gradually massacre the Luo nation from the face of the country through the killings.
In Kisumu, people are being pulled out of their houses and shot or crowbarred to death by police officers. In Migori and parts of Homa Bay, police are going into villages away from towns and shooting or crowbarring people to death. All the elements of the making of a genocide are present in the developments in Luorad.
The statement read by former Murang'a Governor Mwangi wa Iria highlighted the concentration of police killings in Luo-prone areas of Mathare and Kibra in Nairobi, and the counties of Homa Bay, Migori, Kisumu, and Siaya. Today, records of police shooting in Bondo, Siaya County stand at 14, with Azimio la Umoja concluding that the killing of protesters is slowly taking the shape of genocide, a similar fashion exhibited by historic Nazi Holocaust spearheaded by Adolf Hitler in Germany.
We meet here at a very sad and traumatizing circumstances. A state-sanctioned genocide is underway in Luolad, particularly in Kisumu, Migori, and Homa Bay. A similar atrocity is also underway in parts of Nairobi, including Kibra and Mathare.
The Azimio party did not miss to mention the rings of attacks on former President Uhuru Kenyatta and his family, in addition to the recent persecution of Azimio associates, purporting that the country is slowly turning into a police state, the worst it could ever get.
The withdrawal of security of his mother, Mama Ngina Kenyatta, the attack on his son, Jomo, by uniformed police, claiming to be police, and the attack and vandalization of the Kenyatta family Northerners farm. These are all acts of grave provocation, not only to Uhuru Kenyatta and his family, but also to all right-thinking Kenyans.
That notwithstanding, as a mayor principal delegated for peace negotiations, Kalonzo Musyoka, indeed confirmed that he held the speculated meeting with ambassadors yesterday. However, he said that they are not ready to make peace with the perpetrators of genocide.
What sense does it make to meet with people who are already committing acts of genocide?
Mwangi also revealed that they will not back down in evicting the Ruto regime from office, noting that the protest slated for Wednesday next week will continue as planned. He also hailed the signature collection exercise as a success, as so far 8 million Kenyans have ratified the eviction of William Ruto's administration from office. Munene Weru, KU TV.
Now, former President Uhuru Kenyatta's remarks against the state during a police raid on his son's home yesterday night have sparked sentiments today in the Kenya Kwanza political divide, with leaders incriminating the former president for what they term as sending paupers children to violent protests while theirs remain under heavy protection. President William Ruto has urged Kenyans to depart from instability, reaffirming his position to deal with the opposition insurgents.
Former President Uhuru Kenyatta's move to finally break the silence on attacks against his family, targeted indirectly at him by the government, has sent political shockwaves across the country, with Kenyans mesmerized by the spectacle of an altercation between presidents sitting and former. Today, the Kenya Kwanza Battalion quickly jumped into the fray, making yet fresh allegations that the former president now harbors an arsenal of weaponry used to fire at state security officers during the recent episodes of protests in the country.
Simuliona wengine jana wakilalamika ati watoto wao wanasumbuliwa, na wewe umeweka bunduki 20 kwa nyumba. Ni vita gani unapigana na bunduki 20 kwa nyumba yako? Unalia eti mama yako anasumbuliwa. Kwani sisi hatuna mama zetu?
Commander-in-Chief Emeritus Uhuru Kenyatta whined on the heinous acts of witch hunt that dragged his family along, with particular political attacks on his son during yesterday's political raid at his home and the unceremonious withdrawal of security officers formerly attached to former First Lady Mama Ngina Kenyatta. Today, President William Ruto has dared on the Azimio generals to send their sons to protest front lines and leave ordinary Kenyans' children alone.
Ama tulikubaliana namna gani? Hata hawa jamaa wanajaribu kutuletea tendawili ya maandamano. Mimi nimewaambia hakuna maandamano, wawache upuzi. Nijue kama naelewana.
Moments after the police raid on Jomo Kenyatta Uhuru's son yesterday, the Ministry of Interior released a statement of revelations on a weapons syndicate and announced a crackdown of illegally possessed firearms in suspected residents around Nairobi. Muneneweru, KU TV.
Well, it is time for us to take our first break right here on KU TV Weekend Prime. We have more to come. Stay tuned.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Mtazamaji popote ulipo, unapokuwa ukitazama Safina Show
inang'oananga sasa hivi. Ungana nami Albanas Mwania, nahodha wa Safina Show, nikutoe ng'ambo ya pili hadi ufuoni. Safina Show, sauti ya matumaini.
We are all seeing the impacts of climate change. In Kenya, for example, the floods, the frequency of the floods is becoming more and worse. The amount of people and livestock we're losing.
The level we need to go is the level where the normal mwananchi and also the government stakeholders can uptake the solutions.
Those small acts multiplied by millions of us will help make a difference in the world at the end of the day.
It's just a slight behavior change that we need, and you'll find that it serves us a bit more than you put in. And that's the goal. We want to live a better world than we found. Because at the rate we are going, it's dire.
We will secure the planet for future generations.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Let's carry on. Kenya has, in collaboration with Belgium today, launched the Last Mile Water Supply Project, a water distribution initiative worth 625 million shillings. President William Ruto, alongside other government officials and regional leaders, inspected the project, expected to benefit over 400,000 people in Kaimosi, Chavakali, Mbale, Maseno and Luanda, ensuring water access and development.
President William Ruto has today commissioned the Last Mile Water Supply Project, a significant milestone in the region's development aimed at addressing the pressing water solutions of the local population. The 625 million shillings water project is set to produce 12,500 cubic meters of water daily, benefiting 33,000 residents. President William Ruto emphasized the importance of deliberate coordination and sustainable investments to achieve development agendas in the country. He also assured the citizens of his commitment to serving them and working towards lowering the high cost of flour by reducing production expenses, including fertilizer prices.
Tumejenga damu kubwa pale Kaimosi, na hii maji itakuja Kaimosi, itakuja Shamahoho, itakuja hapa Mbale, itaenda mpaka Chavakali, itaenda Maseno na itaenda mpaka Luanda. Hiyo maji sisi tumepanga vizuri.
Ruto went on to explain that the government is working to ensure county governments work smoothly by ensuring they are adequately funded and funded on time.
Pale zamani mwisho wa mwaka counties walikuwa hawapati pesa yao yote from national government. Mimi nataka gavana wenu hapa ni shuhuda. Mwaka huu nimehakikisha ya kwamba hakuna hata senti moja imebaki kule national government ambayo ni ya Vihiga County.
The Vihiga Last Mile Water Supply Project will cater to the water needs of several regions including Kaimosi, Chavakali, Mbale, Maseno and Luanda. Yvonne Kemuma, KU TV.
Now, President William Ruto has pleaded with the Chinese government to chip into development projects in the country, including renovations at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Mombasa and Lamu ports. Ruto has also sought help with the rejuvenation of the Mau Summit Highway and the upcoming Greenfield Terminal as part of the Forum on China-African Cooperation Initiative. Ruto spoke during a diplomatic meeting with a representative of the Communist Party of China, Wang Yi, at State House, who reaffirmed China's support for Kenya for the benefit of the two countries. Like that, we take another break. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned.
What are some of the ways through which you can develop these skills so that you are comfortably fitting into the job?
You have to put yourself in positions where you are uncomfortable in the sense that you are not clear about what to do.
Because I used to work a corporate job before. So when I left, I happened to visit someone's farm around this area.
So this project is called Security Breach Detector and Readiness Familiarize. It is meant to be used to detect, detonate explosives.
We'll tackle all the tough issues, discuss all the weird moments, and hopefully share a few laughs along the way.
To the Church O'Clock Show. I'm your host, Esther Becky.
And my name is DJ Terrell.
We start you off with a word of prayer and get you started with a live transformational worship experience. And have our minds renewed by the word of God on the word segment.
And not forgetting new music za hii wiki, yani ndakuwa bado nawapatia pale wasanii wamekuwa kiwakali. So make sure manzo tune in because zitakuwa zina flow pia pale mixes kwa wingi, yani zitakuwa zina come through, and pia performance yani from our gospel artist hapa on Gospel Art
from 7 to
10 a.m. only on KUTV.
The beginning of wisdom.
The Bible says, when he spoke, then he spoke a parable to them, that men always ought to pray and not lose heart.
Christ says, I stand in the door and I knock. Whoever hears my voice and opens, I will dwell with him.
Like the moon, I will fade, but like the star, I will rise again. And though I fall, be rest assured that I will rise again.
Go to the hospitals, tell them that God will heal them. Go to the prisons, tell them that they'll be free. Go to the crusades and tell people that Christ is coming, and sooner than the word itself, is the second advent is imminent.
Mtazamaji popote ulipo, unapokuwa ukitazama Safina Show
inang'wananga sasa hivi. Ungana nami Albanas Mwania, nahodha wa Safina Show, nikutoe ng'ambo ya pili hadi ufuoni. Safina Show, sauti ya matumaini.
Happening in sports, Africa's fastest man and Commonwealth Games champion Ferdinand Omanyala makes history as the first Kenyan athlete to win 100 meters Diamond League. Omanyala clocked 9 minutes and 92 seconds to claim Monaco Diamond League crown ahead of Botswana's Lesile Tiboko, who finished second with a personal best time of 9 minutes and 93 seconds after South Africa's Akani Simbine pulled out of the race in the last minute. The sensational Kenyan star has had a stellar outings in the Diamond League after finishing third in Rabat and second in both Florence and Paris Diamond Leagues. And finally, Wazito FC survived relegation battle with a comfortable 3-0 against Migori Youth to retain their top-tier status in the 2022-2023 in the Football Kenya Federation promotion and relegation playoff match held today at the Mohoroni Stadium. Wazito FC, who finished 16th last season, will now face off Nairobi City Stars in the first game of the season on August 27th this year, while their counterpart will take part in the National Super League next season after failed attempt to earn promotion to the top-tier league.
Sisi tactically tuko tumeamua kupiga pressure from the word go, na vijana wangu mnashukuru, vijana wangu kulingana na vile tumepanga, tumefanikiwa vile mpango wetu ilienda. Imekuwa ngumu, imekuwa a lot of challenges, tulianza vibaya lakini nashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu tumaliza vizuri. So nashukuru pia vijana kwa kazi nzuri, nashukuru fans wetu, nashukuru our supporters, our sponsors na kwa kazi nzuri wametusaidia. Bila hao, bila Mwenyezi Mungu na bila fans wetu hatungeweza kufika pale tumefikia hapo. Lakini imekuwa na changamoto mingi sana. Hatuwezi kuruhusu tena kitu kama ifanyike katika ligi na kuja sasa.
Nadhani wako sawa. Nadhani mistake ya kwanza waste chances. First half tumekuwa juu, tumepata chances zetu but hatujazitumia. Ndio zimekuja sasa, second half zinaanza kutuont. So hiyo kwa kumisiza ma chances first half ndio imetupata shida. Alafu na first leg pia vile tulianza first leg hatukufunga hata moja. Imetupata shida. Kitu kwanza nataka ni maintain team yenye niko nayo. Niko na kazi rahisi. Juu hapo jana kama naweza kanao pamoja na pamoja bila moja kutoka. Nadhani next season bado itakuwa sawa. Bado tutajikuta hapa juu. Sasa tunaweza kumaliza namba moja ama namba moja ama namba mbili. Nataka tumalize namba 3 tena. But at least this time tumefika hapa. Tumeona challenge yenye iko hapa. So next time tukijikuta kwa situation tena tunajua vile tutasolve.
We have to call it a night. Thank you so much for staying with us throughout this broadcast. See you again in our subsequent bulletins. I've been in the company of Ruth Chepkoech, and I go by the name Daphne Orina. Do have yourself an amazing weekend and a good night.